This is the Giraffes Don't Eat Steak podcast, a show that brings you marketing stories, tips, hints, and much more. A treat for those who want to succeed in business or marketers who just want to learn.
Hello, Alex.
Hello, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. I just started watching this TV series. It's it's a very grim story. It's about Auschwitz.
Oh,
But the story is amazing. It's really, really engaging. Um, it's about a love story that happened in Auschwitz. So
okay.
it's an amazing story because it's like the worst position any human could ever be in their life, but humans still have the capacity to love. So it's a beautiful story. But the music to the TV series is just awful and it just does not fit whatsoever. And it really jars with me.
Okay.
Even though the story is incredible and I am engaged in the story, the music is just really, really putting me off because it just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit with the vibe, it doesn't fit with the story. When there is like basically nothing going on, like the music's kind of dramatic and it's just kind of feels like it's just really jarring. And you sometimes don't really think about it. When you see a really good movie, it's also because some of the music is incredible.
Yeah.
And like you leave thinking, wow, that music, that film is amazing. And then sometimes someone might say, "Oh, what about the music?" And you're like, wow, actually, if you think about it, the music was on point. And that's like a real skill to be able to have music that really fits with with a show or a film or something like that. And it's the same, I think, like across everything, like advertising and stuff. I remember when we were doing TV shoots, sometimes like a lot of time we opted for no music because the music was really detracting from the
Message.
message. But there is like there's a misconception about the importance of music and blah, blah. Some people think that you just need to put music on, just overlay it because we need
Yeah.
to have something on there. You really need to think about it because music is one of the most emotive um, pieces of art form there is. So when you
Yep.
hear music, it creates a lot of emotion to you. We've talked a lot about like colors and the psychology of colors and messaging and creating messaging that appeals to humans' basic needs. But music is also a huge part of that. And it's often it's often not thought about or often just, yeah, I mean, just put on willy-nilly without any thought about it. So
Yeah. No, I agree with you. In terms of movies, if you think about, I don't know, have you seen Star Wars?
yes.
But the Star Wars, right? Like the music that always accompanies Darth Vader, I mean, that's like, he's coming, right? Like it kind of tells you something's going to happen. So very well done. But I agree with you. It can also be very badly done. And then even, so I'm not a horror fan, but I find out if I turn the volume off on horrors, I can watch it fine. So it's not actually the scene that's scaring the life out of me. It's the music and the way that's what's getting me like all tense. So I found the other day that actually I can watch horrors no problem as long as the sound is off. Then I'm good.
That's really interesting. So if you went to the cinema to watch a horror movie, you
I'd
just
have to
bring
put
earplugs.
earplugs, yeah, just like close my ears, and then I'm good. Isn't that interesting? But it's the music, isn't it, that creates that emotion and the fear or the anxiety or the tenseness. Um, in marketing, I think a lot of times people just choose music they like. I was
Yeah, no.
lis I was listening to I like Dido. I was listening to Dido the other day. And for me, it's upbeat, right? It's woman empowerment. Yay. Like for me, it's great. My son walks in going, "Why are you listening to this depressing music, Bob? Are you sad?" And my whole family said, "Yes, you only listen to Dido when you're sad." And I thought about it. So for me, I listen to Dido when I'm calm and happy. And it's sort
Mm.
of lifting me. But in their minds, I'm sad. And it was just like, wow, that's such a different perspective. And they were all like, "Oh, you're sad, Mom. Why are you listening to Dido?" So it's also about, so if I put Dido on my ad because I like it, maybe depressing a whole generation of viewers when I think this is really cool.
That's quite interesting. It's quite melancholy, that music, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dido.
But it's calming for me, calming for my brain, because my brain's super active, right? So I
Interesting.
need calming music to get me into like a lull zen state. If I
Yeah.
have like wah, 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 wah music, which I also like, but that's going to get me even more active, right? When sometimes I just need to focus and I need to just come down a little bit, focus, and Dido's my go-to.
Yeah, that's true. And you have to be really careful with music. And I think like we made some bold choices by not having music sometimes, because I think that was that was a strategic decision.
Well, we were selling death, we were selling life insurance, right? So the message was, you're going to die, leave some money for those you love, right? That was the message. And we couldn't find, we tried. I think we listened, I can't even remember how many tracks we listened to and tried to match.
Just so much to have really like soft, gentle music, which
But
I
then
felt like,
with a funeral background, it was too emotional because
yeah,
most of our ads had a funeral scene in it. And then how do you get someone from that feeling of sadness into I'm gonna buy?
yeah. You have to have the right combination
Yeah.
of getting your message through and creating urgency to buy rather than just making them feel sad. Oh, I mean that was in our case, because our case was direct response and we needed a response immediately like this.
Yeah, we did.
Maybe if you have another product that's a longer tail branding, that's different and that's fine.
Yeah.
But that's what you need to understand. You need to understand, and we go back to it, the purpose of what you're trying to do with that ad. And just slapping on any music, like you said, oh, it's because I like this song, let's just put it on. It may work, because a broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah.
So you always have the chance of it working, but you do need to be careful with it. And often I find we've worked with many production companies, and they just slap the music on. And I
Yes.
think it can be quite easy for you to sort of ignore it. But I think you need to and it's every piece of um marketing work you do has layers, right? And so music is a layer of that.
Yeah.
And you need to really think about each one of those layers um before you proceed, and test it as well, maybe, if you don't know. I mean, because it can be quite hard. It can be really, really hard. And within the marketing world, we have um, that flexibility to do that, to be able to test different things. In movies, not so much. You just release it after spending millions of pounds creating it, and then it could be trouble. But with marketing, we have that opportunity, that
No, that's
luxury.
true. And then along with that, in terms of not just backdrop music, and mood creating music, there's jingles, right? Which is also a form of music, which can be used to create some sort of memorability in your advertising, in your marketing. LinkedIn recently has created that recording option, which is if you go to your face, there's a recording option, and some people are using that to record music.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Makes your
And,
profile memorable. I mean, I haven't myself, but it's interesting.
yeah, I mean, some of them are really, really. I mean, like think of like Go Compare. Everybody knows the Go Compare opera guy, and the Go Compare. I mean, because it's irritating, but it's also catchy, and everyone gets it. When I was going, and Cowley in Oxford,
Yes.
Yeah. So when I was growing up, there was a golf store. I didn't play golf. None of my family played golf or anything like that. They had a jingle, which to this day I still remember. And that for me is like, well, that was a hugely successful campaign, because it's still stuck in my mind. Whenever I think about golf, but that jingle just appears in my mind. That's actually incredible. but I don't think they're still going anymore. So maybe they had other issues, but they did very well on the jingle. But it really is, jingles can be a really powerful, very powerful thing. If you get your customer singing things or
Yeah.
singing in, you know how when you get like an annoying song stuck in your head or you can't get it out, if you can get that jingle into somebody's head, woof, that's gold.
Instant recall, right? That's instant
Yeah,
recall of your brand.
yeah,
And even in AIG Israel, the jingle is the phone number. And there
mm.
used to be the stat when I worked there. There was the stat that every cab driver in the whole of Israel knew the AIG phone number because they could sing the jingle, right? And so you could get into a cab. We would test it. We would travel over there. We'd get into a cab and say, "Do you know the AIG phone number?" And they would sing it back to you, right? I mean, that's winner.
Gold. That is gold. I don't think I've ever worked on a jingle. No, I don't think I've ever done one.
Okay.
I put that on my marketing
Put
bucket
it on your
list.
to-do list. It's quite fun.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
when you have lots of personalities in the room, it's fascinating because, of course, everyone comes in with I like, right? And it's very hard to get out of it. I did, I was playing around with AI the other day and I wrote us a song. Do you remember that song I wrote for us? You didn't
yeah,
like
yeah.
the music. I liked the music, but you didn't. But then I did the same one for this Toastmasters group I belonged to. I was having fun with it, right? Because I was playing around with AI and so I sent the song to the group going, haha, I just made us the song. You won't believe it. They've loved it so much. And I still cringe whenever I hear it. But they love it so much, it has become the group song. It gets played at the start of every meeting. And I'm already annoyed by it. Like I've heard it like 10 times and I'm done. But it's caught on. They love it. It's their jingle. They hum along. You see people, because it's all on Zoom, see people bopping along to it. And I'm like, ah. So it's so interesting. This caught on, but just by accident, right? This was just me playing around, having a little bit of fun with AI. And I went, ha ha ha, look what I've done.
Now
And
they love.
ex
Now they're stuck
expected
with it.
your reaction of, no, I think you were trying to not hurt my feelings. That yeah, the lyrics are good, Erica, is what you said. And so yeah, another way music just caught on, right? And they've hooked. I don't even know if they have even looked at the lyrics. I think it's definitely the music that was chosen by this AI tool
Yeah,
that has everyone like hooked.
yeah. I wonder how. I mean, from the version I heard, I probably wouldn't. Not sure of the quality of the actual music I would put onto my marketing material, but
Well,
I
but
wonder.
but you're like a super muso. You see, I wouldn't quality is not my thing. I heard it sounded fine to me. Where
Yeah,
you're nitpicking in your ear because you're a music expert, right? I just like what I like.
yeah. But I guess that those tools are going to get really, really, really good very, very soon, and it's going
I
to
think
be
so.
yeah, and I think it's going to be quite helpful as well. I mean, because like when I mean now the search, but even when we were looking for music for kind of the adverts that we were doing, it is difficult. And like you said, like I know music, I'm
You
good at
know
music,
music.
but it's still really, really difficult to find something. But I guess with the advent of AI, it's going to be really, really helpful to if you're really describing the emotions that you want to create and it being
Yeah,
able to generate or find music that is
a match.
a match for that. I think that's really helpful because it's really difficult to find the right music. It's really difficult.
And then if you do find the right music, how do you understand all the copyright issues around it, right? Because if it is a Dido song, I can't just go and stick it on my ad, right? Like it doesn't belong to me.
Really
I
good.
need to go and work through the copyright stuff. I need to do all that. So, there's a lot that comes with it, which could also be why we just decided not to go that route. It's just like too much. Um, Trying to think somewhere there was a fine, right? Oh, it actually wasn't music. It was we used a bobblehead of Elvis, and the Elvis Foundation came and said, nope, You can't use it. So I think they gave us 2 days to remove it, and then there wasn't a fine or something, so we did that. But like the copyright, and that's like a bobblehead doll, right? That we just used in our ad. It wasn't even forefront, it was in the back somewhere. It was like whatever. So
You can
music is far worse, right? People are going to
get
be like, that is mine.
yeah, you can get into real trouble, and rightly so. And rightly so if the artist is not being credited for it. Rightly so. I mean, there's plenty of sound banks, libraries of royalty-free music that
Yeah.
you can purchase. But I mean, you do also run the risk of using the same music as everybody uses. I mean, like there's
Yeah.
there's a type of music, and you probably if you hear it, you know exactly what I mean. It's like the corporate music. It's like do 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 do. It has this particular tone and a particular sound that they use on the keyboard for all corporate music, and it just every time I hear it, I want to die.
You mean like
And
lift music
kind of something like that,
or
yeah.
what?
And then
Elevator. Elevator, is that the word?
yeah, but that stuff is in the music libraries. It's just littered with that kind of music, and
Yeah.
you do run the risk of using overused music, and
Yeah,
you know,
because they don't give you feedback as to this has already been used 5,000
a million
times.
times. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I mean, it's not just your ads or your campaigns. People also have, it's about thinking of your full end-to-end customer experience, your on hold music in your call center, right? Like that can drive me crazy. That's just like, oh, can you
That's
have
true.
chosen anything else that I want to hear on repeat?
That's so
Um,
true.
do you want people to be annoyed, or do you want them, how do you want
Oh,
them to
maybe yeah,
feel?
maybe it's a tactic. If it's a complaints line, they can put on a really annoying one, so people just
To
think,
make
"Oh,
you hang up?
got it. I'm just going to hang up. I can't handle this anymore." That could be a good tactic. Yeah, and also maybe something I've never understood um, why have they never been able to create music that on the hold line that doesn't sound like it's coming out of a speaker that is about to blow up. It's always like I've never understood that. Why does it have to be like? Why can't they have a good quality sound? It's very bizarre for me. I've never understood that.
If
Anyway,
any listeners work in that industry and you can explain to us why this happens to on hold music, please comment, contact us. We would love to know. We are detectives after all. We're super nosy. We want to know why that is. So anyone listening, if you have the answer, please send it our way.
it's like the announcements in stores or airports, and they're like, you're like, well, I hope that wasn't a really urgent call because nobody understood what you said.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, any last top tips for anyone thinking of using music in their marketing or anywhere in their business?
Be careful with putting on using music that you like.
Mm,
You think about what are the emotions you're trying to create. What is the mindset of your customers, or how do you want them to feel? Just think about those questions, ask yourself those questions before you put on Dido.
mm. And I'm just going to add on to that. It's about how do you want them to feel versus what you want them to do? Because
Mm.
feeling sad and buying are opposites on the scale. So if you want them to buy, you want them to feel buying is generally with confidence, with excitement, with, oh, yeah, I want that, right? It's a different kind of emotion to sad. So it's making sure you're connecting those dots with how you want them to feel, but versus what you want them to do. And is that joined up?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. I agree with that.
And check your royalties. Please don't get a fine. There are bots scouring everything nowadays to try and find out who's using what without permission. So double check and triple check to make sure you don't fall foul.
Yeah, well worth doing that. It's not worth the headache and the financial.
And I've got one for you, Alex. I think we need to find you a jingle to do because jingles are fun.
Yeah, I'd love to do a jingle. I've never done one. Anyone need a jingle? I'll help you do it.
Brilliant.
Cool.
Well, thanks, buddy. Good episode. Thanks
Yeah.
to everyone listening. We will see you again soon.
See ya. Catch you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That wraps up this episode of Giraffes Don't Eat Steak. Thanks for joining us. I hope you found value in our discussion and got some new ideas to apply to your own business. Tune in next week for another round of marketing insights and inspiration. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We appreciate you listening. Catch you next time on Giraffes Don't Eat Steak.